Beautiful view. See the Gulf shining in the background, part of it anyway. We're right into One Tree Hill over there. Come up a long way in the last few moments. It's quite steep, all this. It's about a 30-degree gradient, that part anyway. Doesn't seem like much. To get to the top is roughly equivalent to climbing up a 40-story building on the stairs, I think. I'm not good at guessing things like that, but you can imagine it. That reminds me of all that stuff about these high-rise buildings. If something goes wrong, then you're up 80 floors. I just think we're making rods for our own back with stuff like that. You gotta walk down 80 flights of stairs, no thanks. Very difficult, especially in an emergency. Something to think about anyway, but not my decision. Anyway, we nearly reached the top of this section. This is referred to as Hogan's Hill Lookout. I guess if you climb up here, you're Hogan's heroes. Ah, look at that, there's the city of Adelaide in the distance. I'll just see if I can zoom in a bit. It takes me about an hour or so to walk into the city from there, from home, even though I look past the fairway. And to go out to the other side, to the coast, you're looking at another 2.5 to 3 hours or more of walking, if you're silly enough to try it. But Adelaide's a wonderful place because it's flat, generally, so you can ride a bicycle or walk or whatever you want. Get to a lot of places. Some of it's a bit hilly, but it's not too bad. Well, this is Hogan's Hill Lookout, just a bare knob of a hill. At the top, the power lines are here. You hear them buzzing away. 660,000 volts, I think. Wouldn't like to get touched by one. And after this, you get that beautiful, I'll just stand in the shade here so it keeps it off. You get a wonderful view. Absolutely stunning. I'll just go back to normal zoom now. I can point out some of the landmarks on the place and pick out some of the local shopping centres and things like that. I was on that hill the other day, you might remember. I was a bit worried about the rain coming. I was just over there where that bit was. And I had to walk down that slope over there, which is really steep further down. Doesn't look much, but it's a long way. I was a bit worried about the rain coming. I could see the rain coming in from the city. So I had to get down pretty quick before I got wet. Anyway, I got home all right. But it's just a wonderful area for walking. And the power lines go through the hills and out the other side. I think they meet up eventually with a substation a long way away from here, but I'm not sure where that one goes. Anyway, it's a beautiful day to be out and about. I hope you enjoy this. I go to a bit of trouble making these things. And there's just a bit of cloud up here. Not too bad. This pathway leads us back down not such a steep road. Beautiful. I love these trees. They're lovely. They have a similar resemblance to a lot of plants in South Africa with the multi-trunk plants and a small canopy on top. I often get Africa and Australian landscape mixed up until I look at it more carefully because of that. Another olive thing there. Bloody nuisance, them things. A few ones have dried up. We've had a very long, hot, dry summer yet again. It does take its toll on the bush. I mentioned that before. But it's quite a amazing thing the way it just regenerates. You know, we've only had a little bit of rain and everything's come up green. Nice to have a bit of a rest on an old tree stump. Ah, I don't mind doing this. It's looking a lot better now than it was a few weeks ago. Everything's greened up nicely, as you've seen already. Magnificent view around here. And it's just so peaceful. If you're a bit of a scaredy cat for heights, this is probably one of the better walks to go on. There are others around where the path is on the edge of a cliff. You've got a fair drop off on one side, and of course you've got a sheer cliff on the other side. I'm afraid I've got no head for heights for those things. You wouldn't fall really easily unless you really tried hard, but I don't like it. Then again, I don't do a lot of things like that. You forget about jumping from one building roof to another as well. But anyway, that's why I enjoy being out here. It's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I think I've said that about 3 times already too. A lot of people spend a lot of money to travel around the world to see something that's right on their doorstep like this. I see a lot of films of other people's cities and places where they live, and I see hills in the background which look roughly the same as this. And I often wonder what their hills are like they go into and have a look around. They can go for almost any country in the world, whether it's tropical or arid. There must be some spectacular scenery in a lot of these countries, and you never see it on the tourist brochures or anything. A lot of people spend a lot of money on stuff like that just to go there, and it's all right here in a lot of ways. That's one way down, or this takes us up to the road corner. Just to give an idea where we are for those who are interested. Walking up these paths is like paying off a home loan. You just think you reach the top and you get there and there's a lot more to do and a long way to go. It's not too bad. Wind's starting to pick up here, but it's more exposed over here than where I was before. This is almost winter, and yet it's quite mild, almost like a early summer day. Quite amazing when I think about it. Oh, I've reached just about the top of this walk now. You get to see these amazing grass trees, very slow growing, and as you can see it's been burnt by a bushfire, but they seem to make a fairly good comeback in most cases. We're right up on the ridge now. In fact, the road's just up there. You can see the post for it. That's some of the gorge down there. I'm not exactly sure of the depths of all that, but it gives me the creeps. I know that much. And those cliffs over there are fairly famous for rock climbers. That sky is just glorious against the backgrounds of the hills. I've never seen so clear and beautiful. It's just wonderful. The other side there you can see some cliffs. There's a lookout on top of there. I was there the other day, but I don't like it very much. It's just too high. It's a few hundred meters down there. I'm surprised they haven't put a cable car across this. It'd be quite a spectacular thing. More of the grass trees over there, the whole group and putting out flowers. Absolutely amazing. Anyway, I'm going to head up to the road and start my descent shortly. Anyway, I'll sign off for now. Thank you for viewing. Well, not quite live, but it takes me a while to process these videos to make a bit of sense out of them and all the rest of it. But I'm glad you've enjoyed watching this anyway. Maybe you can come to Australia and see some of this. And when you reach the top, you have the old North Summer Road. That heads back to the city sooner or later. I can walk at home if I want to. I prefer to go back through the bush. It's a bit more attractive, obviously. This is also a famous road track. It's probably one of the most favourite of all the hill bicycle rides around. I've been doing it since I was in primary school, riding up here. It's a great ride. It's rideable. It's not so steep you can't pedal all the way up if you don't want to. You can walk it. It's also used on the tour down under. They can close off the whole section and the cyclists come through here and get these spectacular views. We don't have any huge mountains around the area, but these are not too bad. They make a reasonable view. Poor buggers come here in summer though, when it's scorching hot. And this area is a high bushfire risk, so I don't know what would happen if they had the tour down under and had a fire. I think they just cancel it or reroute it. And obviously there's a power line installation up there. They've bunched the wires together because some of the bushfires started from wires touching in the wind and that, and the sparks dropped to the ground. That's why they've got these sort of spaghetti looking things. There's actually 3-phase up there and normal power, but it's insulated so it can't short out in the winds and that. So that was a measure that was brought in a few years ago since Ash Wednesday had the big fires and a lot of people died in that. Fortunately, there's no one living in this area over there anyway, so it's not quite so bad. Anyway, that's enough of that. I'll move on. Come up this path here from the other way. Now go back along here. This takes me back along the southern ridge area. It's fairly walkable, which is not bad. You know, it's not too steep, not treacherous. If you're a bit afraid of heights, it's an ideal walking track. In fact, on a couple of ridges over, you can see a house on top of that hill. Might look nice, but I reckon it'll be a feral hurricane blowing through there from time to time. It gets pretty windy around these parts of the world. Somebody coming up here on a cyclist. Probably training for an event. As you can see, some of these trees are dried out quite badly. They may or may not make a recovery when the rains have come. That one certainly didn't. I've had a few people from England saying to me that Australia is the only country in the world they know that grows brown grass. Probably true, especially around here. That green stuff is only sour sobs, another introduced pest. That's quite a nice spot coming back down here, heading downhill. I think this is an unofficial downhill bicycle track as well, because I noticed there's tyre marks around it and a few jumps. So somebody's gone to a lot of trouble setting it up. I think there's a few official tracks around the place for cyclists. You have to be pretty good to go down some of these, I think. It's fairly rocky, some of it. And then you come across something like this. Isn't that magnificent? Absolutely magnificent. Beautiful tree. I'm not sure what kind that is though. There seem to be quite a few of them around here. That must be a few hundred years old, that thing. It's still going strong. It's not a river red gum, it's totally different looking trunk. This is more of an Australian native bushes. As you can see, they've got really hard glossy leaves, ideally suited for dry conditions. So dry around here, even the weeds don't like it. Not far to go, there's a tree that's fallen. As you can see, it had a bushfire go through it. I don't know when the last bushfire was through here. Not that long ago, because it's still fairly fresh looking, maybe a couple, 2 or 3 years, I can't remember now. There's always something going on around the place. Lightning strikes and sometimes arson. You see there's a few houses up over on the next ridge. Looks nice, but I wouldn't live up here. They'd have no show if a fire broke out. Anyway, I've got a long way to go. I've done some other filming up here that some of you have seen. It's almost as good as a walk in the park here. It's not too bad. Most people could probably walk this with average fitness. So the other way I came up was a bit steeper. So I just enjoy the time. Strangely enough, I haven't seen one kangaroo or wallaby or a snake, and maybe a couple of lizards up here. I think the kangaroos don't come up here all that much. Probably not a lot for them to drink. They tend to hang around the creeks I haven't seen any koalas up here. They're down in the gullies. That other area I showed you is probably where they hang around the most. So it's not like some places around the world. I don't have to worry about mountain lions, bears, lions and tigers, wild bulls or anything else like that. They can come out and jump on me. Although there are drop bears around here, it's been rumoured, but I haven't seen any for a while. They tend to hide up there and they just jump off you. 1.5 tonnes each, they can flatten you. Well, anyway, some people believe that. Bit of a joke there. Although some people take it seriously. As you can see, it's a bit steep down here. I sort of have to crank it sideways a little bit to stop tripping over. If it rains, it gets a bit slippery. Yes, as you can see, it's a beautiful area. It's different in other parts of the Adelaide Hills too. It's amazing. It all looks the same, but when you get into it, it's actually quite different. I suspect that if this is Canada or North America or a lot of Europe, this would be mainly pine trees, which all sort of look the same. But over here, there's that many different kinds of things. It's hard to keep up with it. I think it gets a bit rocky here from the water that's gone down here from a bit of rain. It just erodes it away. Some of the stone here is sandstone, and then you've got a lot of quartzitic extrusion going through it. But that seems to be right through the whole region. And other areas have got slate, there's shales, limestones, but it must have been fairly wild when it was laid down, because some of the rocks are actually buckled. There's some big S-curves through the whole lot, and then the quartzitic extrusions have gone through that, and it seems to happen while they're still soft because they're not really all that cracked. So it makes you wonder what titanic forces were involved in it. And there's the city of Adelaide again. Beautiful sight in the mid-afternoon. The city's supposed to be 1 square mile, but they sort of encroached upon the outer areas a little bit. It takes quite a while to walk through Adelaide because of all the traffic signals and pedestrian crossings. It's a bit of a nuisance. That blank beacon in the background is probably a bit hard to see, but that's the Adelaide Airport. So the international planes or national planes come in and land there, and you're in the city in about 10 minutes. How good is that? No 1 hour drives. Anyway, I'll sign off for now because I've got a long way to walk. Thank you for being with me and just enjoying this scenery. And I don't like handheld productions too much, a bit jumpy. But no, it's quite good. This path here is that bit of that bicycle track I was talking about. Just if you look over there where that power pole is, I think you can see that. That's where I came up. That's the Hogan's Hill lookout. And the path zigzags up the front of there. I won't be heading down to the outlet of that gully. I'll actually be going down that ridge in the distance and down the other side of that. And that leads straight down to the suburbs. So it's not too bad a run. Looking back up, you can see where we've been. Despite the intrusion of all these wretched alders, it's still a beautiful area. Every scene's a postcard, I think. Maybe I'm a bit biased, but they are. Anyway, we must move on. In these last few still shots, it just completes the walk down from the hills, and then you can see a road. That's the main entrance in and out of the national park. I'll produce another video shortly that shows some of the more spectacular scenery. This one was more of a general one. So thank you very much for viewing. And